Safeguard.
ESL One Cologne.
Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Mousesports, a team we're all too familiar with, especially considering what happened over in Belo Horizonte, the previous ESL One. Now we find ourselves in Cologne and things have changed, and changed for the better. Here's a question I'll be throwing to our analysts. I'm your host, Machine, and joining me once again to break it all down and hopefully answer some of my questions and queries and quandaries, we do have Duncan Thorin Shields and we have Chad Sponge Birchill. Guys, I know there are two teams to be talked about here. It is, of course, Mousesports versus Gambit, but I really have a lot more questions regarding one roster, and that's, of course, the roster that just went to a ESL One event with a stand-in and, you know, thereabouts nearly lifted a trophy.
That's right, yeah.
Nearly took it. And on the other side of things, they just picked, like, I'm looking at the HLTV match page. Oscar, Chris J, Rops, Sonny, Snacks, still in his VP jersey in the picture, a Polish flag by his name, and I'm like, goodness gracious, Counter-Strike is changing. Snacks has left Virtus Pro and joined Mousesports.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, blockbuster trade in terms of the names. Sure, in terms of player value, he's not the same Snacks we remember a couple of years ago, where he was one of the best in the world. He obviously was on a failing team in Virtus Pro as well. For Mousesports, though, I think that's the interesting aspect, is, like, as you say, when they went to Belo Horizonte, they actually were having to replace their best player, Oscar. Like, this, the guy who usually will get the MVP if they win the tournament. So to even come close to winning it is a testament not only to the squad they have, but Chris J's job. Obviously, he actually stepped into some of the main AWPing there. In this squad, though, it's very different, because we just saw Sticko on screen for Cloud9, did a decent enough job there. He had a lot of heavy lifting to do in this team. He actively would even tell you, I'm here to set up all the other stars. Like, I'm here to make those guys good. So Snacks has got a very different mentality to that from his past team. I don't know if he's going to bring that into this Mouse squad.
And historically, Chad, you know, when we see teams remove that support player, that backbone, that Sticko, that Taco, it doesn't necessarily land on its feet.
No, and the question is who's going to do it within the team now. Look,
is it a necessity?
We did say a similar thing, you know, when the whole phase trade happened with the likes of Keo and Ella going out, right, and the upgrades of Guardian and Olaf. Now, sure, they're upgrades. Now, in terms of Snacks' firepower compared to a Sticko, much more potential there, right? The thing is, this Mousesports roster had been on the road for like 3 months straight. They didn't really have a chance to sit there and practice and do it properly, and they were still considered maybe a top 3 team in the world, right? Now, sure, this was in a lull period. The SKs of the world had dropped off. Astralis was still building back up. FaZe Clan had the whole Olaf situation there, a little bit flimsy. But Mousesports were looking like one of the best teams in the world at that point. For me, this change has come, it is nonsense. At the last Starladder event, they had a meltdown as a team, right? You know, we got to witness it firsthand. We got to see, you know, how they just weren't happy with each other. And the fact of the matter is, I guess they're a young squad, so those kind of factors played onto them more so than what it may if they were more
still only losing to the champions of the tournament.
Precisely.
You'll notice, though. Yeah.
This is the weird thing, though, right? They've thought, okay, well, we know that we just need to practice. They had a build-up and a chance to practice before this event. With the whole lead-up of Belo, you know, they went from there. Cool. Maybe Jordan, maybe nothing had come into the team and brought a new vibe and showed them, hey, if, you know, we take a lighter value, it could be good going forward. But here they've just made a roster change out of the blue, and I'm not a big fan.
While we do continue this conversation, why don't we just get those vetoes up on the screen? As admittedly, we don't know what's going to be changing too much, and I want to make sure we do get this conversation finished, or at least to a nice point to stop. So we'll let them roll out, and of course, if anything catches your eye, Duncan, do let us know.
I mean, pretty standard so far. This is pretty much what you'd expect. Like, train's got to be available for both teams. Both are going to be considering that. I would expect Gambit to say, let's get rid of Inferno at this point in time. I don't really know why.
Dust2's left
then again,
as well.
Yeah, obviously that's the problem. Is does anyone want to play in Dust2? And apparently Gambit's willing to.
That's interesting, because I didn't really feel this was going to be that much of a Gambit map. I did watch them the other day in the ESL One New York qualifier against North, and they stole that from North. That was North's pick. But going into that matchup, it was like, well, we don't really know too much about Gambit on this map, and they only have, let's say, Mo doing the primary AWPing. Obviously, Hobbit can pick it up from time to time. He doesn't mind being the secondary, but they're huge influential factors. And for a team like Gambit, who aren't super AWP heavy or reliant, it's a big question mark.
And talking of AWP heavy, I have a bit of a, you know, another point about Mousesports in that Chris J AWP'd in Belo Horizonte and he looked comfortable. Dust2 in particular, he looked, you know, vivacious. He looked crazy with that AWP. Now, of course, Oscar back in the roster. Are we going to see a bit of a battle for the double AWPs more? Is this going to be something that he wants to bring out more often, and then does that lead disarray while searching for a support player?
The thing is, yes, like Chris J certainly wants to use the double op, mainly on the CT side though, so I think maps like Train, perhaps Dust2, that's where you could see it. The problem is though, already even when they had Sticko doing all the supportive stuff, Chris J, what a lot of people often gave him praise for is when they were in tough spots, he would just be like a hard entry sometimes. So if you're going to do that, you're not going to be AWPing, and especially on a map like Dust2, again, you're not going to hard AWP with an AWP, hard entry with an AWP rather. So I feel as though actually they just have to play more like the old mousesports, play around Oscar, use the fantastic rifles they have in the mid area, because this isn't really a map that I see necessarily as being like their best, but they should be competent with the skill they've got on their team.
Well, the thing is, when this map first came into the pool, and we saw it, coming up every now and again, mousesports actually had executes before a lot of teams did, so they'd put some prep work into it. With a map like this one, I think it's fine with all the individuals. If we were talking on a map which needed a little bit more teamwork, I would start questioning a lot of things, because Snax in VP has always been a playmaker. On the CT side, going aggressive, basically locking down parts of the map on his own. Chris J, Oscar, they're playmakers as well. Chris J, in his time, has been doing a lot of entry fragging on T-sides, basically going into areas on his own, getting it done so he can have a 4-pack of his teammates who are all the fraggers, just cascading onto a bomb site. It's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic goes now.
I mean, I do see the potential for Rops walks into the site first, Snax comes in to get the trade, and then after they're all low, Sunny comes in and finishes off. Like, that's a terrifying T-side if everything somehow finds its mojo and finds its feet. The question is whether it will. Now, talking of Gambit, of course, that's what mousesports are up against now with this fresh roster, Duncan. What kind of firepower can we expect from them? Can we expect good resistance? Are we expecting a close game?
The thing about Gambit that's infuriating if you're an analyst is they have so many close games. They seemingly have a really deep map pool. They can play a lot of maps. But the problem is, it's actually a bit more of a wide map pool than a deep one. They're not really amazing on any of the maps, and obviously this isn't a map you've seen them play a lot. It feels like a gamble even going towards this. So I feel like as a squad, all those in-game leader moves, which went through all the star players and has now ended up at Dosia. Yeah. Unfortunately, it seemed to take something from each player it went to. And in the end, okay, someone like Hobbit sort of came back online. Adren's still decent, but they never got back to the heights of where they were before. Because remember, when they won the major, as much as they were an underdog, they still didn't have, like, Adren was one of the best players in the world. Hobbit could really frag up there with the best of them. That's kind of gone a little bit. So the, like, average level of skill in the team's all right, but they kind of lack for the superstars, for my money.
I think, adding Mir in instead of Seized is a firepower upgrade for sure, right? And this guy is very proficient. When he was in Vega Squadron, he was the star we looked towards. He was, okay, he's the best player. When does he get poached? Now, eventually he's gone to Gambit. It wasn't the Na'Vi when they were in tumultuous times. In terms of being in the Gambit roster, it just seems like there's a lot of solid players, right? So it's kind of similar to what we're saying about NIP in a way that there's no super standout. Okay,
and they like the in-game leader aspect.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like Mo, in the past, he's had some amazing games on Overpass, for example, or Adren, where he had that period of time where he was just absolutely beasting with the rifle. Hobbit, when he had his breakout, he looked fantastic. But like Duncan's saying, they've all kind of had their soul sucked out of them when they had to do the in-game leadership role. And from there, not being able to get back to clicking and being those pieces in the puzzle, it just feels like it's very lackluster. Now, I think the fact they qualified for New York was a big surprise to me even.
Yeah, and it is encouraging, I think, that we are seeing new names. And of course, someone's going to go, well, Vegas Squadron have been around for forever. New names in a big name like Gambit. I mean, the CIS scene is known to be rather kind of incestuous at times. They just basically chop and change one player for another. This time, like someone has broken through from the tier 2. It's kind of like the Mihu in the Polish scene. He's finally found his feet in a big jersey such as Gambit's. The question is whether or not they're gonna click and they're gonna be able to do. I mean, I was gonna say do what they did at the majors, but I don't think we're ever gonna see that Gambit again.
Well, there's also the factor as well with Mir is there's still the question of whether they're even using him the correct way. Because obviously the reason why they embraced Seized for a while, who was obviously at a career low, is they thought, right, well, he has played a supportive role. Maybe he can do that, reignite. If we bring that, maybe that's what we need in a team. He even played in-game leader for briefly before they booted him. So Mir, as Chad says, was the star player of Vegas Squad. And this is the guy you looked for. It's like, oh, maybe Na'Vi will bring him to be with Simple. That's like what people were mentioning. So no one's move really was maybe Gambit will recruit him and then sort of put him in some kind of a supportive role and then that'll make the team better. So unfortunately, within their team, I actually worry, touching on what you were saying there, if like there's a bit of hierarchy element where it's like the older players, like the Dorsiers and the Adren of the world, are sort of like, well, we've got our spots and where we're playing. If you come in the team, you can play what spots left. But I don't know if you're a GM, if you're making a team, if that's the way you want to do it. You want to put the talent where it fits the best. And if someone's an older player, he maybe has to take up a role he doesn't want.
Sounds like you might be referring to perhaps an Electronic. I mean, that's
teams
a very similar situation.
Yeah, same thing. He also was looking a bit lackluster lackluster in Na'Vi, but then now when they've actually moved it, once they noticed it was a simple show, basically, they gave him Electronic, one of the best players in the world now, and now Na'Vi actually is a team that can win, not just one player.
Yeah, well, it does sound like Casters and Talon are all going to be taking to their seats as we're going to be jumping into this one, and you should too. Grab your snacks, grab your beverages, ice cold on this sunny day, because we're heading to Dust2, and we're going to be seeing how mousesports, with snacks in the roster, fare versus Gambit. This is going to be fun to cast. I'm sure they'll love it. Henry G and Stadicus, the voices in your ears.
Well, Henry, let's hope Snacks on mousesports can return to the highlight reel he used to be.
I hope so. It's a weird one for me. He has replaced Sticko, who just played with Cloud9 and won convincingly, so that was a great showing by him. Snacks now will be on the CT side of Dust2. It's a map we know mousesports is very good at. Gambit, I haven't really seen them play too much Dust2. I'm interested to see what they can do. They got Mo, who's a fantastic AWPer as well. We normally focus on the AWPers this particular map. But for now, Gambit have got a great long spawn. I wouldn't be surprised they take it. See Mo right there at the front with Mir, as they might go for this one. They've got a couple of smokes, and indeed they will. It's a very spawn-based map, even right down to the pistol round. You just take those long spawns when you get them.
Yeah, Hobbit. No surprise with that very deep B spawn. The only one that had it was swing toward middle, get some information. Good shot from Sonny. He's gone immediately. Snacks at the car. You can hide behind this car more effectively in that you're not seen, but it doesn't have that little flame that you could basically use to deter vision. He can control his peak, though, and he'll go back up. Good flashes from teammates. Takes down a Duran to start it off, but tagged. Heavily tagged. Mir's on 7. He's finally dropped. And Sonny's swinging will find Mo. They're completely pinched. It's Doja left against 5. He's good, but how good?
He'll have to be extremely good here if he's to have any sort of chance. I'm not sure if this is possible. Maybe he can get a bomb down here. We'll see. He's going to have Robs to deal with first. That's towards the lower B area. Dinks him. That will send him packing. Doesn't want to be part of that duel anymore. Down to 16 HP. Does have 1 kill. And like we said, Gambit trying out that long spawn at the very start. Didn't really work out for them at all. It was a nice shot from Sonny to kick things off. He found a player holding towards the top and middle. That was Hobbit. Once he went down, that really forced their hand towards long. And Snacks waiting. He gets 2 kills. Not the cleanest of kills, but they all count. As Sonny, he was quite crispy this round. Very good stuff from him. 4 players survived for mousesports. I'd say they're certainly the favourites going into this one. We know they can play with stand-ins, I should say. Who sometimes stand out? We saw nothing over in Brazil. Get them to the grand final.
That was insane. Yeah, that's right. That was an incredible storyline to follow. Nothing now playing in Brazil in CSGO has made 2 straight finals.
Yep. That is amazing. It's so cool. That was a really interesting tournament. But mousesports here with Snacks, just straight from Virtus Pro, not aware, brought in to replace Sticko, and hoping he can maybe rekindle his career as he's suddenly started to plummet towards the end of his tenure with the Polish squad. I'm not sure what his role will be, especially. I'm sure there's been more rifling. Anchor inside, says Chris J, gets to find a few kills there with the MP7. He's been a specialist at that particular weapon. Sonny gets nothing. He might get a plant out of this. Yeah, oh, that grenade miss as well. Certainly getting a plant now. This could be a little bit problematic here. So bomb will be planted, but round's clean overall. Just Sonny that gets dropped. He certainly was going to get 1 kill there, but the Glocks overwhelmed him. A few dinks made things a bit uncomfortable there. So bomb's planted. And for now, that does mean they can buy up this round. That was pretty much a full eco there. So 2-0, but the AK's come out now. Dosia could even afford an AWP. I don't think he will. Indeed, he won't. So there we go. It's going to be AKs across the board here for Gambit after a cheeky little plant comes through. They actually have the advantage here. You can see the buy for mousesports with the MP7, the Scout on Oscar. But they have got 3 M4s as well, and the majority of their utility.
Oscar just going to hold with the Scout nade to top middle. Scout in this range needs a headshot for a kill. Couldn't quite capitalize. Mo gets tagged, I believe, by the first player in his cross. That was Chris J with the MP7 at that range. Only got taken down to 66. Guess we'll back off. Don't see too many players trying to push out behind the Xbox to see lower tons far too often. Sonny's head shows, nearly gets removed by Mir's AK-47. Mir, by the way, as it was announced, has completed his trial with Gambit and is now a full-time member of the roster. Good push through from Chris. He's got an AK picked up, gets Doji as well. He'll back off. They got Sonny on catwalk. But it gave Chris the time he needed to not only get the gun a second kill and get away, it leaves them now a man up.
Well, this is what Snacks does best. Aggressive pushes by himself, single excursions towards tight choke points in the map, and this is no different. Going towards lower B now. Great shot by him. Finds Mir, and at that point, 4 versus 2, 40 seconds remaining. This was a difficult round for mousesports as well. Remember that bomb going down in the previous round really did hamstring them, considering they had to scout the MP7 coming through, but they recover nicely. 30 seconds here. Don't need to be part of that duel, Oscar. Just hold them towards those mid doors as the smoke gets on Xbox there. It's going to be up to Mo now to try and make this round a possibility. He's got the bomb on his back as Hobbit watches for players rotating from the B tunnels.
Snacks starting to hold toward the B ramp. Oh, that's able to take out Oscar. Good find. That'll get them closer, but look at the HP. This should be straightforward for Snacks. 2 further kills. 3 in total in the round. And for the first time in my casting career in CSGO, he's on another team, and he's starting off well with them. 5 kills total, 3-0 for mousesports.
Yeah, he's in Virtus Pro for the longest time. Was it over 4 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they were the longest active roster.
Yeah, it's insane. It's nuts to see him on another squad. And, well, there it is. Oscar's going to bring out the auto shotgun for the first time. Sometimes a controversial weapon for him. We'll see whether he can get the job done here, though. He's certainly the main AWP at this score, but likes the auto shotgun from time to time. It means he can farm $900 per kill. He'll be in lower B for now, waiting for anyone to come towards that position. Can be a little bit problematic. Now he knows middle's controlled. He can just watch towards lower B. Spots one. We've got Glocks, no armor, and he gets one. It looked like the double kill with 1 shell, but not going to be happening this time. Dust2 to be dropped as well, as mousesports continue to run absolute rampant on Dust2 here. It's going to be the auto shotgun staying in the hands of Oscar here, so maybe they keep that out. I would say get the AWP out as quickly as possible, but either way, round 5, this is probably where Gambit get back into it, I would say.
Absolutely right that it was only 1 kill. It did look like 2. That's why I got a bit excited. Have we ever seen a shotgun double?
I'm sure we have the Max 7. Just to note there, you're using the double HE grenades to cross, not the smoke. So if you use the smoke towards mid-doors, it's definitely safer, but obviously the smoke more beneficial with the mid-rounds. So HE grenades deployed, it does provide a bit of a veil, not fully covered though, so you're still vulnerable.
Yeah, you don't really need 2, but it does add a bit to it. Usually it seems to just throw 1. Good find from Oscar again on that auto shotgun. Doji goes down inside of the smoke.
Now he's got an AK as well. That grenade thrown in afterwards actually flings the AK towards him. So early advantage, courtesy of the auto shotgun. So there we go. Round 5, difficult start now as Dust2 was dropped, and now Sunny holding a defensive angle, watching for players crossing over from short.
Mo looking patiently for the AWP shot toward the site. Can't spot the positioning on the ramp, and therefore will have to continue to bypass. Smokes, flashes, Sunny, undeterred, will go back up, finds an easy kill onto a Dread. No damage detected or dealt his direction. He's able to take out Mir and Mo as they posted with the AWP and tripped over each other. Hobbit gets 1 in return, but he's pincered. Oh, I was going to say, but nearly gets a chance to isolate as Snacks takes him down eventually. It's 5-0 for mousesports.
Yeah, Gambit in a lot of trouble. If Sunny's playing like that, providing those sort of sequences, this could be a rough game for them. When he's playing at his top level, he is an absolute beast, as he demonstrates. There's M4 shots there, with a couple of them hitting towards the head. The AWP shot from Mo misses and allows him to get all 3. And it's another eco now for Gambit, even with the maximum loss bonus found.
Keep in mind as well, if you want to talk about Ents and Alu being their star player, Sunny used the last version of Ents that Alu was on before he left again and went back to FaZe for a while. As a springboard, he's now their top export, if you want to argue that, because he sits on a fantastic roster at mousesports. Brief time in Penta after that Ents experiment round 1.
And went to the major.
And went to the major with Penta, that's right. I mean, he's had an extremely positive upward trajectory in his career. Good shot from Oscar to find Mir.
Yeah. Believe it or not, he used to represent one of my teams.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's how it was back in 2014. But now, that's a different story altogether, because this one's just heating up. 3 kills found. And it will be 6-0 for mousesports there. A little bit closer than it had to be, but the money is looking very promising. Chris J hovering around $14,000. So they're absolutely fine in that department. No double AWP set up just yet. Chris J stays on the AK. Some nice shots here from Adren. Absolutely so with that Desert Eagle. No bomb planted, but keeps mousesports on some sort of leash. As the AWP for Mo comes out once again. I don't think he's posted much at all. 1 for 6 for him. Mia, the new star player from Vegas Squadron on 0 for 6. As no shots connect towards middle there.
So out toward long, they'll get a bit of control, not contested by mousesports. Not playing your standard long car CT, they're actually going to post towards short. With Snacks, that's unsurprising. Double smoke. Interesting. This is going to give Snacks a lot of room now. Did he hear them? Oh, that nade bounced straight off him. They didn't catch it. They didn't detect it. He's able to catch out Miram with the smoke still down. They won't push through. I'm so surprised he wants more. He might get it, but he's blinded himself, and now he finds them. Snacks is back, baby. Aggressive as always. Hobbit's gotten behind him. They may not be aware of it, but he's the only one left in a 1 versus 5. He should get a free kill onto Sunny. Beyond that, it's going to be a challenge. In fact, doesn't even go that far, and Snacks gets 4 kills in the round.
That's kind of insane by him. He'd already found 1. That was a 5 versus 3. Didn't have to do any more at that point, but he's like, you know what? I'm feeling it now, and he might be back. That was fantastic. Flashes through, flashes himself, but they were completely wrecked by it as well. He finds a 7-0. That might be now why Gambit have to change things up. They're going to go for more fast-paced play. Go and use that long spawn again. We'll see. They are going to buy up with 1 AK here, or it's a full buy. I was about to say they're doing a tactical purchase, but it looks like they are going to fully invest. Here's the Snacks flashbang, right-click through. Does flash him, but that's fine. Look how destroyed these guys are. As they're trying to run away with the knives out, Adren doesn't know what's going on. Gets the final kill as well. Hobby gets nothing done, and there's still $14,000 for Chris J as his teammates start to catch up as well. 9K for Snacks and Robs, and then just a bit below Oscar on 7,000. Sunny with 5K. Oh, this is not looking too good for Gambit. Dust2, like I said, a map I'm not used to seeing them play, I'll be honest. I don't think I've ever casted them play this particular one. But mousesports, I've seen plenty of evidence to suggest why they should be playing this. He actually connects that shot. Oscar hits Mir in the leg, down to 38. All the way in T-spawn, he's just crossing back over.
Sunny all the way up toward Suicide with the smoke down. Does Doja consider this or not? Because it may be suggestive, the fact that that smoke's there, that he was up to something and wanted to go somewhere. Doesn't bother to look for it. In fact, he's going to push all the way out to long instead. Sunny's still sitting there, may have missed his window. Given that they're all the way on to long. Good hold from Snacks, therefore. Gets taken down immediately after by Mirror, and good find from Mo to trade off of Rops, because that would have been a double. That would have left them in a ton of trouble. Bomb does not get planted yet, but Mirror goes back for it with a smoke at CT. He'll have the time to do so. Now Sunny will start to move in, but it's no sooner that he does that Mo's already in position. Now the armor aim punch, a massive factor, but still Sunny gets away with it, despite being tagged early.
Oof, well, they do have an entry to this round, though, but they know what Hobbit is, but Sunny didn't need to challenge that at all. He's Chris J in the 1 versus 1. Luckily for Chris, he does have the bomb in his possession. He's going to play the long con here. I think Hobbit's heard him run towards long, so he knows he's got access now towards the side. Chris J plan, it might look quite pretty, but I think Hobbit's got his number here. He'll probably, oh, maybe not. He's smoking towards shore. He's not long, sorry. He's not necessarily anticipating this long con. But now he certainly is. Hobbit with the advantage here and will hit the shot. Christian making a little bit too much noise there as he transitioned towards the long doors. I feel like Sunny overcommitted to the kill as well. Just play, get the information. You're 17 HP. 1 bullet's going to take you down. He's having a cracker of a game, I'll give him that. But that overcommitment finds Gambit their first round on the board. 2 versus 1 for Hobbit.
Second game in a row, we've seen 7-1.
Indeed, that is true. And the double orb set up for the first time. This is where things could really spice up for mousesports. The fact that only 1 player survived there for Gambit. They got a Galil on Mo. You can see Dose here and Mir with no grenades whatsoever. Lose this round, the double eco. That could take them to places they don't want to go. 9-1 in a best of 1. As they look to set up towards a B split. From what I can see right now, Adren showing a bit of presence towards long by himself. That's definitely what we'd call a lurk sort of play. As Sunny and Oscar have full control of middle. There's 4 players in the B tunnel setting themselves up for a contact play by the looks of things.
Double eco is correct so long as a bomb plant not a factor. Mir having already got inside of the B site means that the bomb plant is assured. Now the round on top of that, still up for debate. Hobbit goes well and truly back toward T-spawn, holds the upper tunnels as a result of this, and though he wants to check to make sure no one's rotating in that direction, he gets his back to the wall, which means he can cover the cross. That's smoked. Sunny, therefore, going aggressive, has Doja to find on entry. Molotov, or rather incendiary, thrown deep behind the boxes. Doja's going to step out now, missing the shots, and Snacks Tamir. It's Hobbit that's got to swing back through. He's done so, but Sonny's already bypassed it, and now he holds the entrance as the defuse begins. And Hobbit, can he find 2 straight clutches? It's not to be. Sonny making it 8-1, and the reset hitting hard.
Right, really nice awareness there from mousesports. I think that one smoke towards the T-spawn side of B tunnels, that was absolutely everything. The player waiting on the other side, that I think it was Adren, could do absolutely nothing at that point. He was segregated. It meant his teammates who were set up to defend towards the window and the door have to change their attention. Adren can't do anything. He can't push that smoke. His teammates already start dropping at the time he can make it through. He gets 1 kill, but at that point it's a 2 versus 1. And then the full defuse comes in, as you saw. And by the time he even maybe gets that first kill, the bomb was already defused. And with the bomb planted, like we said, it won't be a double eco now. And Hobbit's purchased an AK-47. That's definitely what we'd call that tactical purchase, very popular in the CIS region. So Hobbit, the star player of the squad, he'll be wielding the AK armor. He's got 1 flashbang as well. His teammates full eco. The objective here is to maybe have a snowball effect. If he can get like a nice long spawn, for example, get that first pick, and then they get another rifle from it, and they get a plant down. They've got 2 rifles. They can potentially win the round, at least cause some damage. We'll see what happens here. Round number 10. Hobbit does have an okay spawn. It's not ideal for long, and he's not going to take it by the looks of things. Just throwing 1 flash over, and just going to be baiting on his grenades. They head towards middle now.
Chris J with the AWP trying to spot out Catwalk, but a set smoke covers off the wall and will disallow his vision, and therefore they get to the stairs at the corner. Mo with a P250. Look for a drop. I expect the drop out of this. With pistols, you probably want to close distance. They don't go for it, which surprises me because now Oscar's got a shooting gallery. They don't control Sonny on the ramp. They finally get him down, but at this point, too little too late. Bit of ambition from Oscar to climb up on top of the ledge because he's never got his feet to the ground before. Hobbit had the aim to his head. AK with 2 kills. He's in a 1 versus 3.
It's not impossible to win this, but maybe it is now. Snacks completely destroys him with the timings there. Finds the double orbs once more. He was the secondary AWPer in Virtus Pro. He won't really have that responsibility available to him anymore with Chris J and Oscar. Taking that responsibility absolutely every single time. Here's Oscar, like you said, shooting gallery for sure. 1 shot, reposition, make them play themselves. They're all coming at you with no utility. There was 1 AK there. It wasn't the worst purchase in the world. He gets 2 kills, but no plan. They were buying up again here. It's 9-1. Galil's, well, 1 Galil, 1 CZ, and 3 AK. So another long spawn will come through. And there'll be challenges time. Good incendiary from Snacks, but he is going to find himself with bullets flying all around him, using the flashbangs once again. It's really scrappy and chaotic, but Mur finds the first and the second and makes it a 5 versus 3. Well played by the T side there, using that long spawn efficiently, smoking the corner, flashing out. Snacks wanted to challenge that. He's really feeling it today, but unfortunately caught up in the web of chaos there. And now it's up to mousesports to try and recover.
Snacks and Sonny going down. 2 very prominent A players, as we've seen throughout, and it'll slow the pace. Gambit will take advantage of that by rotating back around through their own spawn, and with Doja in the tunnels already, they'll head that direction. Inside of B, currently no one, but it will be Chris J. I say that as he gets inside of the window, so both ops still up. He's not convinced. He's still worried about middle. Oh, that's a bit of a problem. Didn't even know they were back in B, and he thought, oh, I'll slow them down. Nope, too late. Already inside of the site. Mo and Adren with kills. Just Rops and looking 9-2, the likely scenario.
I think you might be absolutely right there. Rob's in the 5 versus 1. He's in CT spawn right now. He knows if he can just find 2 kills, he doesn't necessarily have to save. They've got plenty of cash on the CT side. I say that, it's actually been whistled down quite low, you know, because Sonny's got 1,400. Oscar with 1,000 as well. They've been buying double orb setup, so that's cost them quite a lot. They've got 9k on Crystal, 7 on Robs, so they can still get a buyout. I don't think it'll be a double orb, though. So 9-2, Gambit with the long spawn, taking advantage there. Snacks couldn't do anything against the double spray downs. Mur managed to negate the flashbangs, get towards the pit. That's always the objective, even if you have all the smokes and utility around you. Try and get towards that pit. At that point, you can recover. As Mo looks for the mid-cross. Not going to find any damage, though, at all. Hasn't really been a talking point of this game so far. Round 12, coming to the bookend now of the first half. Gambit do find a convincing round there with the long spawn, but can they capitalize upon it? Chris J can't hit the shot so far, but you feel like he's going to get the second one, but surely done for now. But Hobbit fumbles the jump somewhat, and that's going to be 2 clean kills for Chris J.
Yeah, I said ooh because I saw Hobbit get to that box when he missed the first shot. I thought Chris, no way he gets out of that with both kills, but somehow proves us wrong. mousesports now with a 2-man advantage, having only conceded 2 rounds, this round 12. I paused to let you do the math, Henry. 9-2 therefore the score as Adren works up the stairs. Smoke down at the box. They'll take time once again to reset, reposition, and ready themselves for the ensuing battle, which will be composed against Oscar on the ramp with an AWP and Snacks below.
That smoke's done absolutely nothing for him.
Yeah, no.
I think does he think he's playing the old version of Dust2? He could throw it through the little gap there.
Yeah, you
Can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
it's a flat box, isn't it? There used to be a gap you could throw it between, but that's not there anymore.
Yeah, because it's a box versus the Cinders.
Yeah.
The Cinders used to have a very, very specific gap.
Muscle
They do
memory,
readdress it. It's true, muscle memory could be a factor, but Mo's got the shot on Oscar, so the deep smoke works out for them. Snacks now backing off, has to be aware that they've gone above. He'll hear the bomb plant, or at least the attempted bomb plant, and it baits him out. Mo was ready for it. This could still turn, but Sunny controls long. Bomb down, and Chris J finding Mo. Rops onto Adren. That's pretty concise and quick on the retake. Any shot went the other direction. It might be a different outcome in the round, whether Sunny goes down at long or the op lands down towards CT. 9-3, or rather, excuse me, take that back. 10-2. As I get them mixed up. It's a defuse, not a detonation.
It is. Quite a clean one as well. Chris J, fantastic round from him. Holds that B bomb site. Repositioning that AWP on towards the platform this time. Missed the first shot, but certainly made up for it with the follow-up. Hobbit, I would say, should have got that one considering his staff player moniker, but overall it will be a clean finish from mousesports there. 3 players survived, 10-2. Another forced buy from Gambit. They do have the AWP though, but one of the players, Dosia on a Khalil, the Hobbit on the CZ. There it is, finally it comes in. Oscar challenging towards mid doors. Didn't anticipate the AWP perhaps there, considering the financial implications of the way the rounds have gone. Chris J drops an incendiary and then pushes the tunnels here. Now this is a bold play because now he has to rescope, try and find the kill, but makes up for it. What a fantastic shot that was.
Yeah, certainly trying to mislead them in the fact that he wasn't going to be pushing. Gave his position up and then couldn't fall back. Sticks to it. Makes do. Adren gets one, traded back by Sunny. Therefore, the advantage still firmly in the hands of mousesports. That confirmed as Chris takes the shot on a mouse, but Doji pulls it level once more. Elevator, the position in which he finds Rops, but no smoke high, and Sunny's able to swing back. Mir, the only one left. Both players on mousesports with 2 kills so far in this round. Sunny will find the third first at 11-2.
11-2. Round 14. Gambit there. That should be the end of their force buys. $2,000 per player. CZ's coming out. Is this the force buy again? I believe it is. Everyone going all in. They kind of need these last 2 rounds at this point. It could be another very unexciting finish here. Double orbs, 3 M4s, and we're going to see pistols just on the T set there. They have got 4 smokes and flashbangs to go for a B rush by the looks of things. And all else fails, and Robs is ready for them. He could be on for an ace here. 3 kills, all headshots so far. Finds another pistol, and that will send them packing back down towards B. They go. Sunny with the first kill there. Mo left in the 5 versus 1. That was the force buy, remember. And in terms of loss bonus, only have 3rd stage for the last round. If Mo can save them 4, that'd be probably the best case scenario at this point. So there we go. Robs now looking to finish things off. Probably will do so. And there we go. Finds the final frag there. 4 kills for Robs. Denies the B rush completely. As we get into round number 15.
Yeah, best case scenario or worst case Ontario, Henry.
Yes.
They've got no money left.
There we go. Reminiscent of the Stewie 2K spray down.
I was thinking the same thing when it happened. I was like, it's not really the same, but close enough. That was remarkable. That was like...
Close out a game in Brazil. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. The way it happened too, body blocking them while he was blind and killing
6K.
himself. Yeah, unbelievable.
Final round. I was about to say 4 kills for Adren, Dosia, and Mir. 12 between them. That really is not ideal. Dust2 has not been forgiving. So we'll be Oscar now, who will be patrolling the long doors. Only got scouts and a UMP really up against him. There are a few deagles, but this should be 13-2 and presumably a quick finish here. mousesports, no strangers to the particular map. It doesn't seem like getting Snacks involved was a problem at all. as now it will be the B split. You can see 2 players towards the mid doors, the bombs there as well, 3 in towards the tunnel. They drop smokes towards CT, and Chris J knows better. He'll just be falling back towards the door. He doesn't need to be out there fighting. He can just get 1 kill and fall back to those doors, and Robs looks quite comfortable as well. Chris J blind, but gets the burst. His teammate does go down, but Rob's there to pick up the pieces, so absolutely fine by the looks of things. Should be 13-2 at this point, unless it all goes wrong. Robs, though, calmly taps, but can't find the killing blow. Might be a chance here for Gambit after all.
AWP as well to work with, but Mir can't quite get there. Smoke, in fact, is going to allow the entry. Snacks through the window. Overcommitting. Doja. Careful, man. That's your teammate. Does find the kill. He'll find the weapon, but Oscar finds him as well, and Sonny was able to walk in the back lines from the tunnels. 13-2 indeed, and you're right. Bringing in Snacks, if anything, actually kind of helped him because he's been very clever toward Catwalk, but they are no stranger to this map. Chris J's loved it throughout. Oscar's got so much range in the AWP in a map like this, and Sonny's playing excellent. Dust2, I think, is a map you're going to see mousesports become one of the first teams to really own. We talked about their Mirage, how it was arguably best in the world for a bit of time, or at least up there. Dust2 is another one that in this map pool with this team can be very promising.
I think so. That double orb setup is deadly. Oscar seems very well versed on Dust2. Chris J, no stranger to it either. We're getting to the second half here. Gambit look like they're in a lot of trouble here. Very similar scenes to what we discussed on the NIP Cloud9 game. They don't win this pistol, it is pretty much GG at that point. Lifeline's not really available to them. You can see the odds coming in from Bedway there. Very one-sided, as expected. mousesports are the favourites going into this one at 13-2. It's almost a lock-in here. Maybe you go for the straight-up B rush. You can have 4 players heading in towards B, and Oscar holding towards the top of middle to catch any transitioning players. And Snacks will lead the way. Hobbit doesn't find the instant execution, suggests he has to fall back and reload, but there's Mer. He'll get one with a bomb to be planted now. Will Hobbit even try and deny that? I doubt it.
He'll wait rather and be efficient on his retake. Mer won't be. He gets aggressive and found at the tunnels by Rops, who is ready for the swing. Hobbit's hoping at this point they can find the next kill. He's still not entered. Snacks is going to get aggressive, well aware of the fact that they will go through the window at some point as well. Using the door now for cover, quite clever. But Hobbit and Adren combine and then go in on their own with Doja, and everyone's dead suddenly in the favor of Gambit.
Well, there we go. Decent retake there. B rush comes through, and Hobbit was the one struggling at the window there, but he holds him off, stays alive, and then Oscar found patrolling towards middle. Quick kill on him. That was the obvious call. They need to get in towards the B bomb side at that point. Decent retake comes through. Bomb planted though, so not out of the woods just yet. Presumably full eco from mousesports here. AK's in the third. I'd prefer to see a few rifles here from Gambit. They've got 2 and a scout, so that's fine. MP9 for Hobbits and Mir with the UMP. PT-50s available only for mousesports here. Objective, get that bomb down. You might focus towards short to try and get the plant down towards that area. Let's see if that comes in. No nades towards short. That's what towards long, sorry. That's what they're waiting for. A couple of flashbangs to go over, and they'll just try and bully their way up towards long, I guess. And it's just Dosia. But he's got the silenced M4. Pretty much the perfect weapon for this sort of play.
Nade. Dosia and nades. Oh, getting overrun though, isn't he? Good thing that Adren gets in position when he does. Mo also shooting through from CT spawn, not to be confused as to where that came from, and they will shut them down despite that they were getting ever closer to Doja on the site. Doja, in fact, doesn't even get a kill in it, gets a few assists, but his teammates come to the aid, and now it's 13-4 in favor of Gambit. Early buy based on the bomb plant from mousesports.
Round 18.
Beneficial as well because Mo's still on the scout, and therefore Hobbit's got the MP9, so this AK-47 buy could catch them off.
Yeah, that's why when the bomb goes down there, like getting the MP9 now, when he's this far down, I think, oh, let's just try and prepare for that rifle round. But still very possible from the CTs as Sunny looks for anyone crossing over towards lower. Mo will need the top. That might connect. It does indeed. Snacks goes down to 79, but Adren caught jumping there as he threw the grenade. Did a bit of damage, and so does Mo, but needs to find killing blows right now. Finds 2 frags in total, but still a 3 versus 2 now. Snacks and Oscar tagged up, so still a chance here for Gambit of fighting one of that.
Bomb down inside of the doorway, however. And Hobbit, is it in the door? I think it's in between, but Hobbit can certainly spot that, smokes it off, wants to buy more time. Despite that it's a 3 versus 2 in favor of mousesports, it's the HP that's a factor with Snacks and Oscar, more so because they have to retrieve the bomb. As Doja pushes out behind them, they're not quite focused on the bomb as of yet, but Sunny down. Now the favor certainly slides with Gambit, and Hobbit pushing through, catching them off perfectly. Oscar knows where they are, though, and Oscar's going to pull it back. Both Doja and Hobbit go down 14-4.
He's also a fantastic rifler, if you weren't aware. Not a one-trick pony by any stretch of the imagination. Oscar in the 2 versus 1. You could see the aim, the awareness, and good communication coming from mousesports there. The 2 versus 1. Nails the first, knowing that his teammate went down there, and then his secondary teammate went down towards the mid door. So used that information, capitalizes upon it. 14-4 as mousesports inch closer to victory here in the best of 1. Chris J back on the scout. Very good player with that particular weapon. Still a decent buy for Gambit, all things considered. Got 4 rifles here and 1 player on the CZ, but they are severely limited in terms of utility. No kits. Aiming for firepower here as they stack up towards middle with a couple of the rifles. Another player stuck in the smoke. Indeed it is. It's Mir as he gets 1. His teammates there for the second. They could actually have a chance in this one now as they take the man advantage. It's going to be Snacks tagged up. And Dosia with the long flag. You see mousesports not anticipating that whatsoever. 4 versus 2 now. Robson, Chris J trying to recover the best they can.
Oscar getting the round back in their favor, puts them ever close to the finish, but there's still guns for Gambit, and so far so good in holding off the attack. A minute to work with. Chris J starts to swing back toward long bomb in his hands. No one to greet him, which means he can take long control. Pushing onto Catwalk. It confirms information. They don't know what's in the B tunnels, but it also means they've got to get back. So too at the time that they arrive, and Mo therefore needs to cover the cross. Spots 1. Controlled fire. Controlled indeed. Adren's able to swing back up. They go 5 rounds now after just the 1 from mousesports. That'll buy them a bit of time as well.
It will. mousesports don't have to force buy or anything like that. They can just eco until they feel comfortable to bring out enough weaponry to close this one out. But still, Gambit now will have a bit of breathing room. They won't be conceding match point. Oh, maybe, hold on, what's going on here? Sunny has fully purchased into the round. This is not a good call, in my opinion. It's going to see Robs and Sunny pretty much spending all their cash. Sunny, Christian, and Robs now with the scout purchased. They would have had $1,900 on top of their 2K next round, which is enough for AK armor, smoke, but I guess they wanted to try and go for it here. Oscar will keep his money stronger. Snack saves about $1,000. You can see this one not looking too promising, so a chance for Gambit in terms of the finances.
Flashback out over the doorway is Adren. Wants more, but it's Chris to get Mo off camera. We didn't quite catch it. 2 kills with that scout. Adren's going to have to hold and swing, but again, the smoke down won't allow him to see much. It's all focused onto the A site, and that means Doja has to rise to the occasion. Bomb goes down. Good swing. Finds Oscar. Just the pistol for Rops. He's now picked up a scout at least to work with, but Doja certainly did rise indeed. It's 14-6.
14-6. It was Christian, the scout, that finds him a couple of kills, but I guess that buy really wasn't required at all. They could have had AKs at this point. Like Oscar now has $4,000. He all could have had that and had 5 AKs out and closed this before Gambit had a chance to really get into the game financially. I'm not sure what they're playing at that one, but there we go. Still absolutely fine overall, I guess. I'll take an eco here. Christian gets some armor, so I'll be seeing the double orb set up anytime soon. And they'll wait for the nades along. Once they go through and they waited out the incendiary, they'll try and take long with those 2 flashbangs they've got.
Doja just waiting behind the smoke dumpster position. It's a difficult one, but he's actually going to get aggressive. He's caught by the flash, but so are they, and they trip over each other. It gives Doja effectively 4 kills. 3 plus Oscar to kill off a teammate, adding to the assist that Doja's damage dealt. It's Snacks left, and he's downed by Adren, so the ace was not possible due to the team kill, but either way, I would have called it one if he'd gotten the last. 14-7. They continue to close the distance, but now we get guns back out for mousesports.
He couldn't have been more blind at that one, but luckily it's the tightest choke point on the map. As he just holds down Mouse 1, hopes for the best, and does find 3 kills, and obviously inflicts the team kill coming in as well. It's not a huge deal in CSGO. It used to be more detrimental in other games.
Yes. Other iterations, you should say, yeah.
Yes, indeed. It's Counter-Strike 1.6, and so she lost, I think it was $1,500 for a team kill. That's Sunny, waiting for the flame to touch him. Might be lucky, but didn't want to risk it. As they will get a bit of long control here, but Adren's still fighting 2 for nails. Sunny will take him down. Dosia gets the same treatment, 5 on 3, and they spotted a play go towards Carl. Maybe not, though. They were fully blind when he went over, so I don't think they're necessarily aware, but now they certainly are. Mo rotates in. Smoke down. Mo can't get anything done. Robs just completely clotheslines him as he swings out, and now Mer, it looks like they know exactly where he is. This is the mousesports round all day long. Hobbit Not really much left to do. 15-7. What a great play from Robs.
Yeah, that was very convincing. So map point achieved for mousesports on this, our second best of one of the day. If you didn't join us earlier, Cloud9 obliterated NIP as well.
It did.
On Inferno.
16-3.
Yep. Which this one, to be fair, could have gone if not for the pistol in the second half. And I say that, they also did get gun rounds on top of that as well, don't get me wrong, but it had the potential. But here we go. Molotov to slow any potential rushes toward B, and Oscar certainly was heading that direction, but he'll post with the AWP instead. That Adren, 2 kills, long, I'm assuming. We didn't quite catch it either way. As Robs to pull it back and bombs at B. I take that back, bombs at middle. Bombs at middle, oh, good play. We didn't see it, but Snacks just turned around and killed off a player who was flanking to therefore keep the bomb in the equation. Hobbit held off B site, however, and that means Snacks is now left in a 1 versus 3. He'll swing back out with the AK-47 to try and find Mo, but that's not gonna happen. And it's only 1 round for mousesports before an immediate reset comes back in from Gambit, but 1 round further is all they need.
Oof.
Here's the Adren kill. So it was middle they walked out. My mistake. I thought that was out toward long. Haven't seen a mid-split all game, really.
Not a classic one, no. We'll see whether this double orb setup will keep Gambit in the game. It's the scouter Chris J, though. He loves this weapon. Many snipers can get on board with it, but he certainly can. It's going to be Snacks using the long spawn very effectively through the smoke. Takes down Mo. He's looking for a bit more as well, though. What is this game from Snacks he's having so now? This could be 3 kills for him. Absolutely beautiful way to close things out. That's going to be the 5 versus 2. Should be the end. Good smokes to cross over as well. Merc can do nothing about that. Bomb's going to be planted, and Sunny might take him down before he has a chance to be part of this. Oscar, great flank. That's going to be a guaranteed kill. Knows the last one is as well. Fantastic stuff there from Snacks. What a game he's had, Matt. A resurgence of sorts as he manages to have a really beautiful first half as well.
That was a classic first half by Snacks with the flashes and smokes toward Catwalk. You said it, he gets 1 kill, and you're like, no way, he goes for more. Pushes through, finds 4 kills in that round. That's what we're used to seeing, sneaky Snacks, and 19 kills for his entry to mousesports is pretty solid. Sunny, though, you have to give credit to 23. I was just double-checking the total, but 23 kills for Sunny.
I think that's about what we expected, though. 16-8, mousesports certainly the favourites in there. We have to remember, they've got a new player, right, in the form of Snacks, but so have Gambit. They've got Merc coming in his first tournament with these guys. Can't expect much things from them right now. I think he's going to need time to adjust to this sort of setting, coming from a Vegas squadron before. But still, it's great to see mousesports continuing that form from Brazil to here as well. It's going to be an interesting tournament for them.
Well, that said, we'll send it back down to the desk. 2 done, 2 to go in the best of 1 phase.
Yes, absolutely, and a lot to be discussed. Thank you so much there. That's Henry and Matthew. So Duncan and Chad joining me now at the desk. Sponge and Thorin, most likely known to you guys over sitting at home. But first, I want to try and get our heads around not only the fact that we got to see both stand-ins, not stand-ins now, new players, new additions to these roster, and on either ends of the spectrum, Duncan. I mean, Mur had an absolute flop in his debut performance, and Snacks quite the contrary.
I suppose just to caveat that for people, they have played 42 maps together, this Gambit roster with Mia. So it's officially now he's part of the roster, he's off of trial. But in terms of them having played maps together, they've definitely done so. It's just here, you're picking into what should be the best map for a team like mousesports or FaZe, where you've just got all these star players, you've put them into some mixing pot and said, do whatever you want. You look at this double orb setup from mousesports running around destroying everybody. You've got the fact of the matter that Snacks can, look, sure, he was given Sticko's position of having to be the anchor towards long, but that's a position where you get to do whatever you want. So he's just thriving, getting to rotate around. It just looked as business as usual for mousesports here, nothing too exciting.
Yeah, kind of hard to figure out what the Gambit guys hoped for from this, because remember, they started on the T side. The old Dust2 was the T side map. This one actually hasn't been as much, I have to say, but terrible first half. Everyone from Mouse making plays. It didn't matter where you go. It's not like they just only focused one site and just went there over and over again. They tried. Very slow tactics still, you have to say, which is just unfortunately been a hallmark of this Gambit team that hasn't really been the best aspect. And then in terms of firepower, massive mismatch in this particular match.
You just have to look at the fact that it was a 13-2 first half, and one of those 2 rounds of the Gambit got was Hobbit winning 1v3, right? So when you quantify it like that, when you put it like black and white like that, it shows that none of their strats were getting them into rounds. They're just getting absolutely shut down and mauled by this mousesports roster time and time again.
Yeah, and we asked, you know, previously one of our questions was who's going to be the new support player? Sicko's gone, Snacks is already flashing and pushing through smokes and getting 3 kills. Who's it going to be? And taking a quick look at the stats, you can see that actually Chris J DJ probably most likely to be doing that. He had 4 flash assists, 6 actual assists, and he had the highest kill assist or traded percentage within his roster. He was the one that was most participating in those fights and dotting himself around the map.
The thing is, obviously, we never had to see much of the mousesports terrorist side. It's the same scenario as when we never got to see Nip play T-side either. So it's still really hard to know what mousesports are going to be like, because obviously Snacks, if he's just on a CT spot and he's got the chance to play around there, you don't really have to sync up with teammates so much.
And we were sitting here, Chad, just watching that pistol round in the studio, and we had, you kind of just said, it was like 5 years since Snacks played in a different team.
A very long time.
Different voices in his ears when he's holding a spot, different language than when he's holding a spot. That's a great deal of time.
Here's the thing, man. I think the writing had been on the wall for some time, ever since he made that Facebook post, and then he kind of backpedaled and, translated wrong. But the fact of the matter is, the kind of venom he was spitting out at the players that he was playing with at the time from that post, to me, was reading the fact that he needed to get out of there, man.
Could you get excited about potentially seeing the Snacks evolve, the Snacks before the jade started to build up in his eyes?
Of course, yeah, no, he's a very exciting player, and we all want him to be back, that top 5 player in the world type caliber. In this roster right here, he doesn't have as much room, right? You look at VP throughout the history of a team, they've always had 1 or 2 stars. It hasn't never been like completely top heavy star studded. This, he's vying and fighting with other people in his own team. Who's going to get the most kills? It's a little bit different.
All right, then the final question will be for you, Duncan, and that's just kind of a follow-up of this, which is, is there a possibility for that to work? I mean, the only example I can think of is FaZe, where they are kind of all our stars.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, certainly with the talent level, I mean, even just the other players they still have in mousesports, they're absolutely good enough to be a potential contender for the tournament. The real issue for me is, like, let's say Snacks actually does become a star player or something akin to that, playmaker, whatever term you want to use, is unless they're going to really, really push it hard in that direction and go the FaZe approach of, like, so many players and we really just overrun you and we're not super tactical, unless you can make that work, it feels like that means someone else probably then has to transition. Maybe it's Rops takes a step back, or Sonny's just more positional with when he's kind of, like, getting the resources. So that's the big question mark for me, is it's not even just on Snacks. That's still a big if. But let's say he arrives, does it tinker with the balance elsewhere in the squad?
I'm with you. In the same way that we saw Olaf Meister actually.
He obviously made it work, yeah. But that's obviously like kind of an exception to the rule thus far when we've had that in Counter-Strike.
As they have been for a lot of things in Counter-Strike. FaZe Clan, we'll be seeing them play a little later on. But coming up after the break, we have more Counter-Strike for you. We're going to be seeing some more world-class talent step into the server and do what they can do best. Join us as ESL One continues after this.
ESL One Cologne.